Retail is undergoing significant transformations with the integration of AI and extended reality technologies. Retail leaders are leveraging artificial intelligence and extended reality to enhance customer engagement, market analytics, profitability, and overall customer satisfaction. And that's the reason these technologies are seeing anywhere between 30 to 35% CAGR in retail space. That's a huge growth rate for these technologies that we are going to see in the retail space. And that's the reason we at StrikeO and EthAum Venture Partners are hosting this thought leadership panel to brainstorm with the leaders themselves and learn from their expertise, from their insights. We are thrilled to host this panel to discuss innovations transforming the e-commerce and retail space with a very diverse and global panel. This is Pankaj Gupta from EthAum Venture Partners. We are a deep tech revenue scaler and fund based out of Singapore with approximately 120 startups in the portfolio. These are all AI, ML, blockchain, IoT, robotics, AR, VR startups from different parts of the world, stages and sectors, and obviously StrikeO is one of them. To start with the introductions, I would request Nikita to go first. Nikita, please, a brief introduction about your work, and then we'll move on to the next panelist.
Thank you, Pankaj. So this is Nikita. I have around 12 years of experience, starting with a data scientist back in 2013. Now I am heading AI team at Central Retail Group. So I have worked into multiple retailers, started with a career with Target, then with Lowe's. Then I moved to Thailand industry, started with the Macro and now with the Central Group. So these are all the retailers, and I have seen the data science journey from very scratch like a developer, now leading this effort as a head of analytics and AI at Central Group.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Nikita. And I'm sure that we'll get a lot of insights from you through your corporate experience, especially in the retail space. And these are pretty global brands that you have worked for.
US and Thailand.
US and Thailand, which is obviously going to create a lot of interesting insights for the session. Thanks a lot. Ehsan, could you please go next?
Sure. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I believe most of you are all in the western part. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. My name is Ehsan Ali. I've been in the industry for more than 2 decades now in the area of consumables and consumer buying, sourcing, product development, and category management. Our last 10 years have been fully dedicated towards e-commerce and working with several e-commerce large-scale businesses in Australia that actually service through direct-to-customer using their own platforms as well as marketplace platforms across Australia and New Zealand, namely Amazon, eBay, and some of the local tier 1 marketplace platforms. My work in this industry is a category leader, whereby I actually give strategic direction to businesses, especially with startups, as far as how to take their business from the startup phase to the intermediary phase. So it's pretty much transitioning to a more structured, more cohesive environment that actually will give revenue for the business. That's the eventuality. So that's my area of specialty. And I look forward to being part of this lovely group, which will talk about AI and XR, whether it's a hype or reality. So super excited.
Thanks a lot, Ehsan. Again, I think getting insights from Australia is quite interesting because we have been getting a lot of insights from European markets and from Southeast Asia markets. But yeah, I'm sure the Australia market and the consumers behave differently in that particular ecosystem. So thanks a lot for joining us today. Ajay, may I request you to go next, please?
Yeah, thanks, Pankaj. Hello, everyone. I lead quality engineering and testing practice in Wipro. And when I say quality engineering and testing practice, all the niche technologies like performance data, cloud, testing on all these niche technologies is what I handle as a portfolio. And as a passion, I follow AI and emerging technologies. I have set up this practices back in Wipro long back, and I have a passion for it and looking forward to be part of this group. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Ajay. And then I know that we have had various conversations in the past where you talked about your passion, your involvement into AI space, especially at Wipro as well. So thanks a lot for joining us today. Last but not the least, I would request Rinoo to go ahead and introduce himself. Rinoo, please.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. I'm Rinoo Rajesh. I have around 25 years of experience in the industry. I lead AI-enabled digital transformation and platform-based services for one of the largest digital and BPM organizations in India. Now, of course, we have also got footprint across the world. I've had the privilege of working with a variety of enterprise CX leaders, startups, and product teams across industries. Due to nature of my work, I deal with a lot of industries from retail to e-com to telecom and fintech. And my focus has been on making AI practical. So a lot of things that we keep hearing are hype. So how to deploy conversational bot, agent assist, predictive analytics, generative AI to not only improve customer experience, but also operational profitability. I also write and speak extensively on convergence of AI and business transformation. I've written a couple of books where I've explored both the technology behind this and the practitioner side. So when I talk about AI and XR and e-com, my lens will be both that of a tech enabler as well as business outcome evangelist. I'm really looking forward to an honest conversation on what's hype and what's real and what's next. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Rinoo. I know that you are serving different kind of customers and helping them with the digital transformation, especially with AI implementation. So I think your insights on what is really practical, what is not practical, is going to be extremely meaningful. So thanks a lot for joining us today. Okay, now we have star of the event, Shahriar, CEO and founder of StrikeO. He's also the moderator of today's panel. I would request Shahriar to introduce himself. Shahriar, please.
Thank you very much, Pankaj, Madhu, and the whole EthAum team. I'd also like to thank all the panelists for joining today's session and all the participants listening to this session. So hi, my name is Mohammad Shahriar Hossain. I've been in data analytics, FinCrime compliance for last 10 years. I've worked in some Fortune 500 companies, including Coca-Cola, Amatil, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, Bank of New York Mellon, ING Bank, the Perth Mint. Also worked in crypto space, like where we launched stablecoin, crypto custody, and a bunch of other areas. But for last couple of years, we have been heavily invested into developing this startup, which is StrikeO, and hopefully we'll get into more detail about this startup later down the session. So with no further ado, I would like to actually bring in on all our panelists and would like to discuss some key questions that always have been in my mind, and I'm sure that some of the participants, they would also like to know the experienced outlook from our experienced panelists today. So I would like to start with a question. So how will AI and XR transform the e-commerce retail space in the next 5 to 10 years, especially for profitability and customer experience? What will stay the same? So Nikita, given your experience across Southeast Asia, especially Thailand, and some part of the world, what emerging trends do you foresee truly reshaping retail in the next decade? Thank you.
So what I see personally, we are doing a lot of stuff in retail market related to personalization, targeting our customers. But what I see in next 5 to 10 years, we can move beyond just the normal recommendation engines to the hyper personalization, where reaching to the exact needs of the customer through knowing their personas well, and it should be stable so that we need not to make more changes. Right now, we are just struggling to get to the good persona and to the good recommendations. But hyper-personalization will be something that will attach to the customer and keep them strict to our businesses. And also one of the issues and what we are moving towards is like merchandising. Like when we are working with the stores and app, the maximum of the effort goes, manual effort goes for like arrangement of our stock and optimization of these items on the store and the app. So that placeholder could be like optimization via visual merchandising that I see in near future should go well. And could be, we can see some very good experience with the personal shoppers. Like right now we are going and shopping with our needs. If some like bots are helping a lot nowadays, but it could be like a more personalized, like a person helping us, machines like a person helping us for our shopping experiences so well that it will be a quite easy job for our customers to stick to the business that I see like coming up, and it will be very soon, will be up with our businesses soon.
Thank you very much for your experienced outlook into that matter. Ajay, from your perspective, working across technology innovation ecosystem, what
Yes.
aspects of retail and customer engagement do you think will resist change despite AR, XR growth?
Okay. See, in my perspective, AI, along with extended reality, as you call it, is already there in place. For example, let's take up two real examples. One is Sephora. Sephora is a French multinational retailer, as you know, right? So they have something called a virtual try-on. In fact, the name itself is called a virtual artist, where their AR app, the augmented reality app, is using AI technology to identify customers using their face, right? And then give product recommendation. That is one which is happening in real time. Second thing is L'Oreal. L'Oreal also has an augmented reality app where they use AI to do shade matching, and then the virtual try-on comes into play. So a lot of things like Alibaba is using it, Walmart is using it. Even for specs, the glasses what we wear, like Wall by Parker, they also have something called virtual try-on, right? Virtual showrooms. So a lot is already happening in both the spaces, AI and extended reality. And I really see that it getting even more further, I mean, accelerating and adoption increasing in the coming years. I really don't see a problem with the adoption or the resistance because gradually, I think 25 marked a beginning where we saw a lot of pickup of AI, right? Agentic AI was, I mean, it started boomeranging start of this year. So in my view, it will further increase. I mean, leveraging AI in all the technologies will happen very soon, actually, in my view. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So just to summarize, like my understanding so far is like AI XR has already gone like a significant mile, like in terms of like technology adaptation. However, there's still a lot of scope, like where startups can venture around and like can meet the needs of everyday customers. Thank you for that. Now I'd like to ask. Now I'd like to ask another question. Among all the benefits that AI and extended reality startups claim, which ones do you see as a complete bluff? Okay, Rinoo, from your pragmatic view, grounded in real-world tech deployment, where do you see the biggest disconnect between startup promises and operational reality in AI XR?
Interesting question. I think, in my view, what I see is emotion detection or sentiment-based auto-personalization, what I've heard these days. I don't think that's exaggerated in my view. So that's kind of in a territory of bluff, because without scale, without diverse training data, it's ineffective. It doesn't work really. And also, in my view, majority of the users still prefer the simple UX. XR is great for discovery, it's not always good for checkout. And with these zero return AI try-ons, very misleading. See, at the end of the day, unit economics kicks in, and it can be there can be very misleading body type variations, lighting. That's always a gray area. So fabric doesn't feel, you can't feel it, right? So while you can look at it, so it can be accurately virtualized. So, and at the end of the day, still post-sale support, there's a lot of bluff on this. AI can't, replace uh, last mile bad logistics. So no matter how much we keep hyping on AI, there are elements of the e-commerce and logistics supply chain which still cannot be taken. So there's a lot of bluff there, in my opinion, from a practical perspective.
Thank you. I think you brought in a very important perspective into that like there's a lot of bluff going on, like and anyone can develop anything, right? Like but what is the real implication, the use cases, and like how quickly the customers or the market will adapt? There's a huge challenge on that. Like I would also like to highlight that fact, like most of us are not early adopters. Like there's a progression chart, like there's most of us are laggards. Like there are definitely a few people like who'd like to test out anything that's coming up new and stuff. However, like giving them the experience, like where you can switch in from like 2D to XR, like or maybe to XR to 2D, I think that can actually revolutionize the trial process. And like well, definitely there's a long way to go, but thank you for your experienced overview. Ehsan, from your investment and market exposure perspective, are there areas in AI XR retail hype that you think founders need to rethink quickly before it damages trust?
Yeah. Look, when you're doing risk mitigation, it all comes to risk mitigation. A lot of startups actually have got, and this is in particular with startups, the fundamental issue with startups is once they're kind of like have established, and they're pretty much in their fourth year or the fifth year of their business, and now they want to sort of really sort of move really at a very high trajectory. Estimations versus reality. That's a big misconception. Estimates actually are based on theory, like what I believe the Rajesh actually said. There's a lot of misconception which then becomes bluff as well. Making sure, and coming back to what your question is, that when we are looking at the ROI and when we are putting a price tag, we really need to see how are we scaling our business in terms of whether are we actually procuring the stock, are we planning the stock to be warehoused in Australia or at the place of distribution, or whether it's going to be a dropship model. So supply chain is a big background cost that drives your marketing cost as well. Hence, your AI applications all follow through. So it's pretty much connecting your front end versus your back end and making sure that the two ends are seamlessly connected, whether it's through XR, whether it's AI, or whether any medium that actually will succeed in minimizing your returns. That is number one. Okay. And when it's returns, you're looking at change of heart. And that's where XR and AI actually wants to focus, is change of heart. We want to eliminate that as the biggest. The second type of return is, especially with clothing or footwear, is the wrong size or the wrong fit. Okay. Zara has terrifically manifested an excellent AR XR platform, which actually is now giving sizing recommendations to online shoppers as far as making sure what their body sizes are and what products they can actually choose from. So that's another thing. Uniqlo actually is doing it well. So footwear and clothing sizing is your number two. Number three is pretty much your quality aspects or the faulty rate, but it's more supply rate. It's not really focused towards customer base. But these are the two drivers. The change of heart, late delivery could be another one as well. That you promised second day or third day, but then it's reached fourth or fifth day because your back end was not organized properly. So these are your top 3 or top 4 returns. Making sure that you seamlessly add that. The cost can they can vary from a simple robotic warehouse management connected with AI, picking and packing, which will cost, and there are businesses in Australia that actually have offered those services. Thailand has been the source of it, but Australia actually is now practicing it. Is called AI in warehousing. That kind of like mitigates some of the delivery issues. You're on the front end when you're looking at marketing, when you're looking at extended reality and AI absorption of customer experiences. You could be looking at anywhere as low as 5 million to 10 million, all the way up to an investment that goes up to 25 to even $50 million. Amazon spent a lot at the moment, close to around about 130 million, just for an upgrade to make sure that their warehousing returns and delivery is within 24 hours for Prime members. So if you're a Prime member with Amazon, automatically the AI will function with identifying your profile, send out products to you, and then giving you with the promise that it will get delivered to you next day. And that itself was like 150 million upgrade in the AI algorithm technology in Australia only. So forget the global value price ticket is way high. So coming back to startups, it's all about, I think, identifying your customer, their needs. What are their needs? Profile, reverse engineer that using AI, and then support your supply chain and back up your supply chain, meeting those demands and expectations. And that's how you automate your process incorporating artificial intelligence.
Thank you for that. So just to summarize, my understanding is like there's a lot of hype going on in terms of like adaptation of AI, XR, and as Rajesh rightfully said that a lot of those things cannot be actually met because we have our sensory organs and like the touch, feel, smell, it may not be the same no matter what kind of technology we use. Also adding to the fact that in line with like Ehsan's comments, like the corporates are definitely in an advantageous position compared to the startups because they can spend millions and millions, where they can still keep some of the trust, whereas startup they need to collaborate a lot, whether internally, externally, so that they can reduce that gap. Okay, now I'd like to go to the next question. So, are you satisfied with are you satisfied with the startup corporate collaboration in AI XR now? So, Ajay, having worked closely with both startups and corporates, like how do you assess the quality of partnership today? What's missing?
Frankly, I don't see much of a collaboration happening. Maybe in some cases where there is a solution which is already commercialized, which is already scaled, partnerships happen at that level. But wherever there is a solution which is not yet tested it, or it doesn't have very profound customers, I think that is not something which corporates usually go and tie up, right? So I think, yeah, there is a lot of space to improve there, like where corporates can collaborate with partners, startups especially.
Thank you for that. Like on the back of that, I would also like to ask you, like, so how do you think that like the startups can like close those gaps? Because it's definitely not in corporates, like large corporations, advantage to help those startups because eventually they're going to be the competitor. So how can startups take an upper lead and try to close those gaps?
See, in my view, it depends on the strength of the offering or the solution or what the product is all about. The more the good the success criteria of the product is, that gives a better appeal, because at any point of time, large corporations would have more number of startups vying for their attention. So obviously the differentiator, the product's strength, that's the key differentiator which would appeal to the corporates to take it to their customers, right? So I think that is where startups can improve better, make the product succeed, have some minimum 5-10 customers already, right? Have good case studies on success stories, and then tie up with corporates is what I would suggest.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I think that would something StrikeO would like to achieve, to close the gaps and partner with some large corporations. Now, Rinoo, when it comes to scaling AI initiatives, especially those involving XR, what structural flows do you think corporation and startups needs to fix first?
So, continuing on the previous question also, while I'll come to this one. See, often I see startups building cool tech without understanding the actual unit economics of enterprise e-commerce. And corporates focus on compliance, scale, and data protection. So where I suggest a strengthening of collaboration is something that we do. We call this innovation zones within the corporate, where pilot to scale cycles are defined with budgets, some kind of SLAs, CXOs, reverse mentorship models, where startup founders sit in product meetings of large enterprises to build something contextual, and also joint IP development frameworks, where the risk and rewards are shared. Now, if I had a superpower to bring something good, what would I do? So the first thing is build trust with customers, because I come from a practitioner background. So what works on the real world, and help regulators draw some clear lines around fairness and privacy in AI, because a lot of this is dependent on data, and people are getting very uncomfortable with the amount of data that is required to make AI accurate. And also real-time AI feedback loops between customer sentiment and supply chain decisions. I think that is something that can be useful in this context.
No, thank you very much. I think you brought in another very important factor, most often than not, because I've personally worked in compliance for 10 years, some Fortune 500 companies, I really do understand, the top management, they really give a lot of emphasis on data protection, privacy, all type of compliance, because they don't want to breach anything, to be honest with you, and get debanked or lose the license whatsoever. However, a lot of startups, they may have a very good tech team and they really don't understand, okay, what laws I need to comply with, how am I gonna venture around all those areas and navigate through the tough lines. Yeah, thanks for that. I guess Ehsan, did you raise your hand to reflect back on something? Okay, yeah. Thank you.
That's right. I think it goes back to what Ajay was saying earlier, and going back to the point of large scale companies like our partnerships with startups. In Australia, it's happening. There's a lot of focus by Amazon, for example. It's the biggest marketplace now in Australia. It's just recently overtaken eBay Australia as the largest marketplace in Australia. So Amazon actually is working extremely closely and engaging its startup supplier base through its account and retail division, whereby they are actually now implementing new types of merchandise experience platforms. So again, typically what you see with individual platforms or bespoke platforms where you've got the augmented reality, which is pretty much like a virtual showroom. So instead of a virtual showroom, Amazon actually has gone out to its sellers and say that, look, place your product in, say, if it's a piece of furniture, for example, like a cupboard or something, how will that cupboard look in a furniture sort of living room setting? So something what IKEA has done, but Amazon has really adopted that and offered that kind of service to its sellers. So again, a seller that has low investment, low budget, limited budget again, limited financial resource. Amazon is actually contributing and encouraging proactively to become a partner in making sure that the click-through rates and the sell-through of that product is optimized using an Amazon feature, and Place Me feature, whereby the user who actually is on an Amazon platform, but the seller is actually a third-party shipper. So again, you can see that partnership and synergy, what Amazon is doing is actually working. So that actually mitigates the financial investment by a startup, as well as also frees up more creativity in making sure that the product has got a higher likelihood of getting converted. So it's all about your conversion rates. Amazon focuses on conversion rates, and this is a platform or a sub-platform to enable marketplace sellers or third-party sellers to showcase their products in getting that conversion rate optimized.
Thank you for that. So just to summarize, as per our experienced guests and panels discussion, my understanding is though this large corporations are not helping much to the startups, but there's a lot of ways they can venture around, to specialize in certain niche, and they can go about that, and eventually there should be some sort of collaboration. And as rightfully said by all our experienced panelists, this area is just gonna grow. So I'd like to ask a funny and interesting question. The last one, it's gonna be, so if you had a superpower to bring positive changes in the AI, XR, retail ecosystem, what would it be and why? I'd like to start with Nikita, reflecting on your work and regional players and ecosystem. What changes would you wish to accelerate the most across emerging markets?
So, what I see in my day-to-day experience, and I would like to do being given the superpower, is a standardized and a universal data standards. So, having the XR capabilities and AI capabilities, we are actually growing so fast, but using this information in a way so that we have one day a very collective data all together and using it in a very efficient way. That would be the best and the positive change I would like to see everywhere, like anywhere and everywhere, because this is the niche we are building, but to be utilized in the best possible way. Because if you see on a day-to-day basis, every company, not just myself, like we are spending a huge amount of money, not just in doing AI and doing any innovation stuff, but first to stabilizing and standardizing our data. So if we are doing anything innovative, we should keep collecting this data. And if we have like everything at one place in the best possible manner, I would love to see the organization like that so that we can focus on innovations and have our bases very strong.
Thank you. I think that's a very interesting point because
yeah, that is a day-to-day struggle.
Yeah, exactly. The data is growing so rapidly. If we don't have standardization, in the near future, it's going to be really hard to scale those technologies, and it's going to be pretty messy.
Yeah, every time, because we are progressing, but we need to keep saving this for future to be very bright for us.
Thank you very much. Because it's a very interesting question, I'd like to ask, all the lovely panelists. I'll probably go to Rinoo next. Rinoo, if you can tell me, if you had a superpower,
One
what
thing,
would you like to see?
if it was one thing, then it's build trust with customers. So we are collecting a lot of data. Like I said, a lot of customers become uncomfortable where their data is kept, how it is being used. So build trust with customers and how their data is used. Also, if you take the view from an SME or a underserved geography, then they should not be algorithmically excluded. There are always biases in data and algorithms, how they're used. So that's another area that you should be looking at.
Thank you very much. For your insights. On my screen, the next would be Ajay. Ajay, what superpower and what would you change?
Yeah, so in the context of AI and XR, if there is a superpower, before that, I will just want to call out on two predictions, right? One, uh, it is predicted that in the next 5 years, we may not even have televisions around, right? We will be only using all mixed reality headsets like Apple Vision Pro, MetaQuest, and all that stuff, right? And same thing goes with the current usage of those mixed reality head devices, right? Today, we are not able to use it because of motion sickness and all the other stuff. And you can't use it for a long time, right? Your head starts spinning and you cannot. But then let's say all these things, the device fragmentation, the device uh, becoming uber cool and being really usable, right? It will further accelerate all these things of doing this virtual try-ons, virtual showrooms kind of a thing, right? You could do your shopping right at the sitting at the home itself kind of a thing, right? That kind of a thing. So even though the prediction is 5 years down the line, by 2030, things will start working. If I have superpower, I would want that to happen in the next 6 months itself, maybe, so that we get to know like how it happens in real time. Today, MetaQuest Pro, Vision Pro, all these things are not something where everybody will have. Like everybody has a smartphone, but nobody has. I mean, not many people will have an Vision Pro in their home, right? So that becoming affordable to everybody will further accelerate this progress.
Thank you very much. So Ehsan would be the last panelist. What superpower and what would you like to see? I think you're muted, Ehsan.
Sorry about that. I would concur with Ajay what he has just said. It's the hardware. But then before we go into the hardware side, you see, you need to look at the main three challenges that for me, the top three are: one is how to mitigate poor returns, which are actually caused by poor visualization and the unmet expectation of the product that's being merchandised online. So basically the merchandising, the visuals. It can be color, it can be pixel, it can be anything, okay? The other one is the AI part is difficulty in predicting consumer trends and seasonal demand. So when we're looking at predictability with seasonal products, that's a challenge. And then obviously we are looking at disconnected data across sourcing. So again, it's all about data mining, which we've already spoken with Nikita, actually saying she would love to have all the data as compartmentalized as much as possible so that we can streamline and optimize the flow of that information in the best way forward. Having said these top three, which we all somewhat have already discussed in this forum, okay, my biggest wish list probably would be is to have the data mining. So again, data analyst, the role of the data analyst actually gets, well, it's not somewhat totally automated, but it's more or less automated using AI. So the analysis part becomes pretty much an AI function. Your renders, okay, that is your visuals, the merchandising, augmented reality goggles, the cost at the moment is way too high. Again, we need to bring down the cost. It's like going back to the typical Nokia phone, which now we classify as a dumb phone, as to the Apple or Huawei, for example, is the new smart generation where Huawei actually now is integrating its car model into the phone, which Apple failed, but Huawei succeeded. So there are a lot of takeaways of making sure that technology integration is seamless and user-friendly, whether it's using through goggles, but then again, goggles have been replaced by Ray-Ban's new AI glasses, which have got the typical wafer frames, but then you've got now, you can actually Google, and that probably will revolutionize your AR experience as well, or your XR experience when it comes down to shopping. So again, 360, that's one thing. Now we look at rendering, for example, gaming solutions. We need to learn from our gaming programmers to become part of the industry in the retail sector, because the work, the coding that they do, the rendering work they do is so accurate that when the coding and rendering is done for, say, merchandise products or visual products or tangible products, okay, the cost of rendering those products is far lower. At the moment with gaming, at the moment you create a model, but that model actually then carries on, has got a shelf life of 3 years, 4 years. But with fast-moving consumables, obviously, we don't have that liberty. So it's all about the technology going to the retail level. Unfortunately, in the ecosystem, after hospitality, retail is the second lowest in the ecosystem. And financial markets or finance is at the top of the ecosystem. So whereas automobile is somewhere in the middle. So you can see that to fall into that second last tier, the cost of equipment, the capital that is needed needs to be amortized a lot, which probably I believe will be more than 2030. I think it will go even well into 2050 because, again, economics, consumer behavior, GDP, those things will come into play. Affordability, cost of living, macroeconomic factors will come into play as far as optimizing AR or XR or even AI in retail business, especially in this part of the world.
Yeah, thanks for that. I would like to share just 30 seconds. So one of my superpower or like what I would like to see actually. The people who live in Australia, we know that like NDIS is pretty big. So basically, people with disability or any kind of physical or mental health issues, they struggle a lot. So I was actually out of random, I met one of those person and I was just having a quick conversation. So luckily the person was smart enough to hold those conversation and just asking that question hey, sometimes it's hard for you to go out and do the shopping by yourself. You may have a carer and who takes you to the shopping mall and stuff. What if you can do the shopping from home? And then he was actually telling me what he would like to see using a VR headset, he would like to do all the shopping. So for me, it is not just only profitability rather than there's a social cause as well. Maybe the portion is very little, but maybe we don't have the foresight to see that at this very stage. However, there's definitely a lot of social impacts that can be brought over. But with no further ado, I would like to hand over to lovely Pankaj, and he can take over from there. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shahriar, for moderating this panel. I think we have been able to receive a lot of interesting insights from our panelists. I'm sure we could have gone on with this for hours and hours, but we will have to now change the tone a bit. So this was a panel discussion where Shahriar was asking questions and panelists were sharing their insights. And now we will change or turn the tables a bit. Now, this is the session called Roast Session. And as I mentioned this to the panelists earlier, we love hosting Roast Session because founders are able to get brutal, honest feedback from the industry leaders through this Roast Session. And they are able to obviously learn, improve their overall messaging, their strategy based on the feedback that we are receiving. So I would request Shahriar to do a quick presentation about StrikeO and get some candid feedback and direct questions from the panelists. And request to the panelists is please don't hold back, please don't hesitate, be as open as possible. This is also your opportunity, other than roasting, to give it back to young founders like Shahriar, right? So Shahriar, please. You're on mute.
Thank you very much. Can you see me all right? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna share my screen. So this would be screen one. Okay, perfect. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see a screen now. Please go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Some technical issues.
Probably you may want to go in the presentation mode.
Yep, and that was actually doing auto like
Okay.
a slideshow that I didn't want that. So yeah. Okay. Okay. So first of all, I would like to show you this photo. Like this is not like a regular pitch that I would usually do to any of the like investors, like because it's a
Shahriar,
roasting session.
can you please try presentation mode?
Okay. Sorry, just give me a hot sec. Presentation mode.
You can at the bottom right, just click on.
Bottom right. Sorry, just let me pull it over here. So where is the presentation mode? Can you see it all right? Sorry.
Let's continue with this, if it is okay with the panelists.
Is it okay with the panelists?
Yeah. Let's continue. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So first of all, I would like to show you this photo. So like this is a busy street, like anywhere in the world. And if I ask you a question that like, what is the percentage of retail and hospitality kind of like venues or shops within any busy like marketplace you see in the world? So just to give you a very quick answer, the answer would be somewhere between 75 and 70%. So anywhere you walk in the world, like you see like either on the left-hand side is a butcher shop, like a grocery shop, like a tobacco shop, like or a restaurant, like a fine dining, whatever. 70%, 75% are either or. So we started off this company like StrikeO, like as just to give you a very quick demonstration. So like we launched November last year, and like we built this platform like in the shape of 3D shopping mall, like where you can roam around, you can just go like select any of the products. But the interesting fact, like when I was actually giving the instructions to my developer to build that, I said it has to be seamless. Like what if the customer don't have time and stuff? So they can click on this button. It just brings them to the 2D shop, like just like Amazon, any other shop. Same way, if you click that, it's just gonna get you over there. Now I'd like to talk about the problem statement that we faced. So while building that solution, like we realized, yeah, definitely it's nice to have some sort of XR, VR kind of experience. But like it reminded me of the story of my friend Sam. So Sam is a corporate, like does 9 to 5 job. So he wakes up one morning, like his wife Sarah is saying, "Hey Sam, I need to get some grocery done because my friends are coming over. I need to like cook some Thai curry. I don't even know the recipes, like, and don't forget, like our kids are allergic to nuts. So Sam was thinking, okay, I need to go to office, and like I don't have time for that, first of all, to the grocery. So I can just like write down all the list, and like, but Sarah is also going to the school, and like she's also busy, so they don't have the time. And Sam is also thinking, okay, he needs to do the calorie counting. So calorie counting, allergen information, none of that is available anywhere in the world at the moment, like as per my understanding, for last 1 year that we have been researching. So then we came up with this idea that we want to develop this AI agent. Her name is FoodieBot. So FoodieBot, what it can do is it can ask FoodieBot any kind of question, like, hey, I give me the recipes, or so for an example, this is FoodieBot, the version V2. So all I ask, like, hey, how can I help you? I just ask, like, if beef burger halal, tell me the calorie count. So FoodieBot can give all those information, but this is not something that we really wanted to achieve. We wanted to do something better. So what we came up with is a very intuitive UI, whereas like you just go to our platform in StrikeO, like, so this is our AI agent, Nisa. So all you need to tell Nisa, like either voice or text, like, hey, I've got 10 guests coming over, give me the recipe, add them into the cart, like under $500 or $200, like this, remove all those allergen information, and these are the dietary requirements. So that can all be done. However, while we were developing that, like a whole FoodieBot, like we were also facing, okay, like the use cases may be way more in hospitality, not only retail. So that is the time, like we were trying to solve another problem, which is, so we built this like a Trendora, which is our a retail management solution. So to give you a very quick insight into Trendora, or the hospitality platform that we have built. So anyone, the hospitality, any kind of organization needs a bunch of departments like operations, marketing, HR, like compliance, all that stuff. So restaurants or the retail shops, they don't have, like I'm talking about small retails, they don't have the like people or the money to go about all those predictions, like, okay, how much is going to get rot, how much I need to order, what is the sales forecast, what is the cost forecast. They don't have time for that. So all we are doing is like we built a in-house OCR system. So whenever there's like a stock coming in, they're going to take a photo, and everything is automatically updated, whether it be retail, whether it be a restaurant, automatically get updated once like they're running low on any kind of inventory. So Vendora is another agent, like Vendora is gonna say, hey, you need to order it straight away. So there's 4 different agents we're working on together. They simultaneously work together. Anyone going to a shop, like for a customer, they just tap, they walk out the same. There's nothing changes in terms of the whole process life cycle. But for the restaurant manager or the retail manager, the things are like completely different. They would know. Now they get a printout of Excel sheet. Okay, I need to order 5 kilo of like potato, 20 kilo of like tomatoes. Like they go about that. Like they need to do manual stocking. But our like in-house AI, proprietary AI, can do all the stock taking, projection for inventory, for sales, for overhead. Like so Vendora can do it all. And I already talked about the FoodieBot. Now, if I go back to the presentation, so yeah, we are actually offering a solution to both these industries. Like they can also have an immersive experience, as I've quickly demonstrated. These are the 3 agents. Actually, we are working on one other agent as well at the moment. If you look at the market size, like retail has over $30 trillion, like globally, hospitality, $3 trillion and over. And because to support that whole chain, just like a chair or like a pillar, like we are actually building an advanced logistic solution as well. I'm proud to say I've got an amazing tech team, an amazing AI team, an amazing XR team. So who are working day and night to bring about all those things. As you can understand, a startup starting from November last year, I believe we have come a long way. So if we talk about a quick traction, like we just launched our mobile app in Bangladesh. We have around 17,000 products and another 8,000 in the pipeline. So we just launched FoodieBot V2. So advanced AI sales prediction, like we have a lot other prediction, which is Vendora. Like Vendora is about to be launched within next 2-3 weeks. We have advanced analytics, the whole flow, like all the software we are, it's almost done. So this is our quick traction. Yeah, like we're trying to raise only $500,000 for 16.6% of equity. And we already got some like credit from Microsoft, like we have a bunch of other partnership all around the world. And I believe which puts us in a very good position to talk to investors, partners, and everyone. And this is a very high level team introduction. So this is me, Mohammad Shahriar Hossain. I've got the CEO as Shahadat, like Ghazi as our CMO, Uzair as our CTO. So let's redefine retail, hospitality, and logistics together. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shahriar. Let's start with questions.
Shahriar, just one thing. Actually, a couple of things. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm asking a very basic question. Why did you, I mean, what was the trigger point to merge retail and hospitality together?
Okay, thank you very much. Like this is, I'm a problem solver myself. So as you can understand, within financial crime, if anyone's committing a crime, like you are given a bunch of data sets you don't even know. Like sometimes the data is very limited. Like from there, you need to navigate the whole world around you. So when we were actually working on the like problem that we wanted to solve, that like, okay, now if you go to e-commerce, any kind of e-commerce anywhere in the world, like you need to get some shoes, you type in shoes, you see 20, 30 options, you try to pick up a product. But like you may not only need shoes, you may need a whole bunch of grocery, but you don't have the time. You don't actually want to spend that time for that. Like you can ask, hey Siri, can you do that for me? But Siri cannot. So that was the problem we were trying to solve. And that is the time we came up with semantic search. So semantic search in our platform, if you type in 10 keywords, it's going to give you like all those responses that no other platform does at the moment. Like you can check Alibaba, you can check like Amazon, you can check anything. Even like one of the largest competitors of us, like Daraz, which is like very prominent in South Asia. If you type in only 2 or 3 keywords, it's just going to say like no results found. It's not even going to give you suggested products. So we wanted to solve that grocery problem. And when we are trying to solve the grocery problem, we realized, okay, like a lot of people have allergen, like that's a data point that like we wanted to solve. Like someone may look for halal, someone may look for vegetarian, someone may want to be in a diet, like they want to count their calories, someone wants to go within a budget under $200, like none of the platform anywhere in the world they could solve that problem. So that is the time I like gathered around all my like developers. I said, okay, can you guys solve it? So definitely some good ideas came in and we started working on it. And once we started working on FoodieBot, that is the time we realized, okay, why retail? Like there's a lot more implication in the hospitality. And if you look at the prediction in retail, if you got tomatoes, whatever, it's gonna rot. Same way, if you get the inventory in hospitality, like you got meat, you got potatoes, you got oranges, whatever it is, like it's gonna rot as well. So basically, you need an advanced inventory prediction model, which is Vendora, and we are building. I believe we're the first one in the world as well for that.
Okay, one follow-up question.
Thank you.
when you showed the demo, it seemed like a metaverse platform, right? Where you could go virtually and you could see all the retail items and all whatever, right? You navigated and etc. But it seemed like only for the e-commerce part there is a metaverse, whereas the hospitality part is a normal regular platform where you go and select things, right? So why not both into a metaverse platform, and why only e-commerce and the grocery part is just a normal 2D kind of a platform?
I think that's a very valid question. As long as we would love to, we are just a startup. Like I've got only 10, 11 developers working for me, like two AI engineers, couple of interns, like with that, like limitation, like that is the reason we're trying to raise some funds. Like as long as we get the funding, like most of my team members are in Bangladesh, some are in Pakistan. So as you can understand, like we can scale at a very affordable cost, like compared to anyone else in the world. We got those talents, and like and that's why we are asking for help. Like Pankaj has been really helpful, like guiding us through everywhere. Like and we're meeting like bunch of industry experts like you guys. Like so hopefully like we'll be in a very like comfortable position in the next few months where we can just go about everything pretty much. Yeah. And just to give you a very quick rundown, like we built a whole hospitality management solution in less than 2 months. So yeah, my team is really, really great. We are heavily invested on like expanding our AI, especially Vendora, like all the AI like agents for building them, like we are just using open source, no paid subscription, no wrapper, no nothing. So there's no BS. We are just trying our best. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay.
I wanted to have one question. So what about your competitive moat? What prevents, let's say, a Shopify, Amazon from launching this in-house?
What my understanding is, like, I think that's a very, very important question. There's always should be some entry barriers so that like no one can just come in and like replicate the whole system. Like anyone can have an innovative idea, but there's always the first starter's advantage that we believe we can have. And just to get those data, like as Pankaj was telling me, like, hey, we only help scale B2B, like, but we actually launched B2C first. And my reasoning was like, I need those data, how customers are behaving. I need those data. So that's the reason, like, we went for B2C. Now we want to scale up for B2B. But just to reflect back on your question, like, we cannot stop them. Like, it's an open market. There's no one can stop no one. But like what we have built in the last 6-7 months, like maybe someone, like, it will take them quite some time to replicate that. But yeah, they're pretty big organizations, so I shouldn't comment on that. Like, thank you.
Okay, sure.
Ehsan,
I got a question. Can I ask a question?
please, yeah, go ahead.
All right, Chair. I see you've done a lot of good work already over there, which is great. I can see that you've identified the demand, you've identified the connection, you've identified mitigating concerns and queries using AI, FoodieBot, recipe conversion. Yes, your target consumer target is now pretty much the millennials and the new gen, which is great because you can. My concern over here is basically sustainability. As far as the project that you have got at the moment, which is good. Usually, as a startup, from my experience, more than 90% startups actually start and fail within the first 3 years. And we all know this as a fact. Now we're trying to look over here from the positive side of things as the glass half full. what measures are you contemplating, or what challenges are you contemplating at the moment to ensure that you do not hit a roadblock after 3 years, or when you're in that phase of transitioning, whether it's move forward or go bust? What is your mitigation process?
Thank you very much. I think that's a really important question. So let me break down the challenges that we are facing now, and then I'm gonna go about what challenges we may face in the next 2-3 years. So at this moment, as you rightfully have said, we are venturing around so many areas. Usually startups don't do it. They focus on certain niche and they try to solve that problem. But our situation was different. We're trying to solve a problem, but we realized, okay, this is not a small chunk of problem. It's actually an overall problem that needs to be solved at the same time. So at the moment, the greatest problem or challenge that we are facing is adaptation with a POS system. So anywhere, for an example, if you walk around to any shop, like any retail, like a small retail shop, or like a grocery shop, or a fruit and vegetable shop. So the customer goes there, either pay in cash or use their card to tap. So where they're tapping is the FPOS system, right? So if someone is giving cash, we already built that system, like the till information is automatically integrated into our hospitality or retail system. But the POS, because we don't have ASIC license, we cannot issue FPOS machines in Australia. So initially, the next 6 months, what we'll be looking for is integrating with large. I previously worked with some very, very big banks in Australia. I already had calls with some of the senior managers over there, and they said, once you are ready, just shoot me a message. So what we eventually want to do is integrate that POS information, how much revenue or sales they're generating on that day, and then populate that information into our system. We have that system, but we just need to get that POS information. And it's not convenient to charge a small retailer, hey, you need to pay a $2,000 or few $100 every month. Rather, if we get a small percentage, 0.2% of every transaction, that is convenient for them, because they're already paying somewhere between 1.1 to 2.1%, depending on what kind of system they're using. So in the next 6 months, we want to solve the problem. I've already instructed my team, they started doing all those API integration with those POS system. So we want to be ready. We want to be the middleware solution provider, where they not only see that, the customer is paying, they have the whole prediction. It's going to do auto ordering. It's going to tell them okay, for tomorrow you need to roster 2 people, not 4 people. Even it calculates the weather data as well. If it's going to rain in Melbourne, it's going to say, okay, for your restaurant, you may want to reduce down your overhead for tomorrow. So we are capturing all those data. It's the challenge for the next 6 months is to incorporate those big POS providers. But in the next 2-3 years, as you can understand, because we got a huge chunk of a market to venture around, we would like to see bunch of large scale VCs helping us up, so that we can not only scale in Australia or the markets we're targeting at the moment, we can scale everywhere. And that is the time maybe Amazon will be saying, okay, this is my competitor. We don't want to say Amazon is my competitor. Rather, we would like to see that Amazon is saying, okay, they are my competitor, or something like that. I hope that makes sense. Thank you.
It does. Thank you.
Thank you, Ehsan. Nikita, anything from your side? I think
Nikita has dropped off. She has put a message.
Okay. Yeah. Any other question? Any other comment from the audience, or Ajay, Rajesh, Ehsan?
This is only about a little bit about data privacy. So, how are your your B2 business customers positioned on the where the data is that a problem for your scalability?
Oh, thank you. Like I love this kind of questions because I've worked as a chief privacy officer. So like all the privacy laws, like whether it be GDPR, whether it be Australian privacy principles, like it's in my lips. So basically, like when a person is like personally identifiable, that is the time like we're talking about privacy data and confidentiality. Like every organization needs to like have those data confidential. So over here, like when a customer goes and taps, he's not providing any private data, right? Like, and if we had to deal with that private data, we'll be providing our FPO solution. But like, as I rightfully mentioned, I don't have that ASIC license at the moment. So we want to go with like a payment service provider or PSPs, and like they're gonna have all those private data. All I need to get is the sales data. Okay, for today, they made $2,000 of sales. For yesterday, they got $1,800 of sales. We will also incorporate that with like all the accounting solution, like QuickBooks Pro, like Xero, MYOB. So all the cost data will also get populated into our system. So like once I want to give a very quick vision, like, okay, to the restaurant manager or a retail manager, he just goes by to every day. He's just have a printout or like look at his dashboard. We'll see, okay, I made $1,800 yesterday, cost was $1,600. So I made $200 profit. It should be as simple as it to them. Like same for ordering, like they're running out of stock, but like maybe like his son is sick or whatever. He just don't have the time like to go about all those Excel. It's stressing them out. I don't want to like cause that. I want to solve that problem. So that is the reason vendor will do all the jobs. Like, okay, you need to order from this vendor because this vendor gave you this price on the last supply. So this is cheaper compared to your other vendors. That's why we came up with the name Vendora, and we already developed the proprietary like OCR technology. So we don't even need to go anywhere. Everything is in-house. We just need those like people to help us guide through. Like we just need a little bit of funding and the right set of people so that we can scale up very quickly. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Rajesh, for that question. And I know, Shahriar, you're sitting in front of the expert panel, right? And it's also a good opportunity for you to get their recommendations, get their guidance on your differentiation, on your go-to-market strategy, on your AI architecture, and so on and so forth. So if you want to get any kind of recommendation, if you want to ask any question to the panelists on what you should do better as StrikeO founder, then I think this is the time. Ehsan, Ajay, Rajesh, do you have any sort of piece of advice for Shahriar?
Yeah, I felt that Shahriar, as I mentioned, while your combines e-commerce plus hospitality, right? Retail plus hospitality. The retail part is the only thing which is there in metaverse, right? If you could bring in the hospitality part also there, right? I think the whole solution differentiates itself. Otherwise, it is just one part of it because there are multiple metaverse platforms already existing, right? On retail, Nike, a lot of things are already there in metaverse. So I think that retail plus hospitality differentiation should, I think it would be better if it is there. Both of them are there in metaverse.
Thank you for that. Like, I just wanted to ask a very quick question. So, like, as you can see, like on our like website, there's a shopping mall. So there's different shops, like for like a female shop, like the sports and automotive. There's like electronics. So do you think like we should go about like having a restaurant kind of shop over there, like and once they enter over there and like they have the whole XR experience, and definitely we're building AI to support those experiences as well.
I think more than a restaurant, it could be a Walmart-like shopping experience also could be there, could be built up in metaverse, right? Like Walmart, Costco, DMart kind of thing. It need not be a restaurant because obviously virtual thing you cannot have that sense of, I mean, smell, feeling kind of a thing, right? You will not be able to have that. But I think shopping, definitely it can be done, even grocery shopping, right? I think that could be brought in.
Restaurant is more touch feel factor, which may not lend itself to this kind of medium. In fact, I would advise focus on scalability, because once you go, for example, does your metaverse or XR experience, is it device agnostic? Because these things will come into play. How does it perform in low bandwidth areas? So that's another barrier to adoption. That's something that you need to focus on while you're scaling.
Thank you. I think that's some challenges we really faced earlier, like when we were building the platform. So our one is on like just a web browser, so like it's not getting a lot of data, low bandwidth. Like yeah, hopefully we can scale. But that's a very good suggestion. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ehsan, I think you wanted to chime in.
Yeah, my advice to you, Shahriar, is to keep things simple. Okay, I know it's very broad-based, very generalized, but really, I think you just need to think, translate customer needs, identify what is the biggest need amongst your customers, and just focus on that. Don't focus probably 3-4 aspects at one time. Focus the one that has got more than 50% of the concerns, and then filter that into a solution. So that what you do is you're taking out the bottleneck in the middle, the hourglass way of actually looking at things. You know, the demand, the bottleneck, the opportunity. So we need to take out that bottleneck and create that direct cylinder effect. So yes, you've got many things in the pie. I would say identify the one that will have the best return on investment, the best ROI. You know exactly how much capital you've invested, but then you also need to know what the ROI will be in the shortest possible time. The other thing, what you need to do is when you're looking at XR and AI, it's not a hype. One thing is for sure. XR probably I would prefer on the latter, AI on the higher. I would say focus on the AI, then the XR. Okay. The reason is XR is evolving, and we in the retail sector, we are in the lowest of the food chain kind of thing. The cost of XR to perfect it is extremely high. Now think about it. A company like Amazon, Walmart, Nike, if they have not perfected it, something they should have done it theoretically, but they haven't. So what is the thing that is stopping them? Cash is king. So again, apply the simple logics with your everyday thinking and eliminate the fluff and focus on the main meat. And I believe AI is going to be a better revenue stream than XR for the time being.
Thank you for that. Really appreciate everyone's guidance on that.
And from the go-to-market strategy, do you think going to big retailers or big hospitality brands would make more sense for Sharia, for StrikeO, or probably in the retail space, he may want to start with mid-size, small to mid-size enterprises, and then get into the larger enterprises later. What are your thoughts on go-to-market strategy and channel strategy for StrikeO?
A good example. Sorry, I'm cutting in because I know exactly it's happening. Food Panda. Tie up with Food Panda. Food Panda is your marketplace for food, restaurant. Again, it's touch and feel. So what you're looking at is connecting your AI to create that shopping list for the user. Food Panda becomes your channel for the shopper to get it from the supermarket and deliver it to you. Usually we actually think of Food Panda as finished product, as in like stir-fried rice, right? We click, we order stir-fried rice, we get stir-fried rice. But in this particular case, we are not asking stir-fried rice as a finished product. We're actually asking for rice, eggs, corn flour, spices. Same thing. It's the same channel, okay? It's the same modus operandi. So again, connect yourself with Uber Eats, connect yourself with Food Panda, okay? They are dynamic nowadays. They are evolving. They're looking for new ways of selling and creating a new vertical, which is quick commerce. I call it QCOM. The QCOM model, which is the convenience model. 7-Eleven at the moment in Australia is trying and trialing at the moment the QCOM business. What you are actually doing is you're actually a step ahead of QCOM because you have got AI coming into play whereby the customer pantry is being actually scanned. User scans the pantry. The AI will calculate exactly what things are missing in the pantry. It will create a shopping list. It will send that shopping list request to Uber Eats or Food Panda. A ticket will be generated and that list will get delivered to that household. So again, you're the retail front, Food Panda is the supply chain.
I love how you are brainstorming on this, Ehsan. Really appreciate that. Any other thoughts from any other panelists or from participants, please?
Probably you should also look at customer success metrics. For example, if you're trying to sell, do you have proof points for usage uplift or drop in returns or increasing in average order value? That will help you, position your platform better.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Rajesh. Any other thoughts or questions, additional questions on that, Shahriar, from your side?
No, I think the panelists actually shared their expertise in various areas where I personally was having those questions, and I'm pretty sure some of the participants they also might have this kind of questions, and I really do appreciate everyone's time in guiding us through, especially me. And also the go-to-market strategy, I absolutely agree with Rinoo, Ehsan, Ajay, Nikita, that yep, we have to go about and definitely keep in touch. I'll probably add all of them on LinkedIn. I hope that's not an issue. And yeah, I would really appreciate your guidance throughout the journey. Yeah, that's all for me actually. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, all the panelists. Thanks a lot for your time with us today. It has been very engaging, very fruitful conversation. So really appreciate that. And obviously your guidance to Shahriar on the differentiation on go-to-market strategy is extremely valuable. Shahriar, you have been a fantastic moderator. I can see that you did not sweat, you did not try because of the roast session. I think it was very, very generous feedback from the panelists that you got. So all good. But again, thanks everybody for joining in today. And obviously, if we want to stay in touch, we want to have another round of conversation with you offline, online, separately, and continue this conversation. Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Take care, and we'll reconnect soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Take care. Bye.